Hello, my Teaserking family. How are you? I hope you're well. I am fine. I hope everybody had a nice 4th of July. I did. Anyway, so I went up to the outlet mall and got a few polo shirts that were reasonably priced. So there was one shirt I liked, my soft one that I wear, the blue one, the green one. And they had one in the regular rack. It was 110 and it was like 30% off. So it was going to be like $77. And I'm like, this is supposed to be an outlet mall. And then there's another one in a rack for like, what do you call it? The sale rack. So there was number one and then there was number two. And number one was in the rack, the sale rack. So I got one there, and then number two, but it was the same shirt, but with a different code. And I said, can I wanted a blue one, and it wasn't in the discount rack. It was still on the shelf. I says, can't we just put it in? They says, what's a different code? And I'm like, hey, yeah. So I ended up getting a yellow one like for 35, and then I think I got a green one for like 65. So I balanced the two, so it was $50 a shirt, but I can't believe they're $110 for a polo shirt without the sale. Unless they just always are on sale and they mark them up so they can get 75 for them. I don't know. Anyway, it was, I walked around for 2 hours. I was exhausted. Um, Nice mall, a polo store, Brooks Brothers, Tommy Hilfiger. And then I ended up going to my sailing store. What's it? I can't think of the name of it. And there's a Coach store. I always stop in there and see the $300 purses for 110. And then I got something at the Skechers. I got a wide shoe that just fits on. You don't have to tie it. And that was it. So there was, it's a handful of stores I shop at. It's just nice to go up north, get the feel. It's nice and peaceful up north. So it's about an hour away. The highway was ridiculous. For some reason, people don't know how to drive. They stop. Like we're merging from one highway onto another to go west, to go north, to get on this other highway near Ann Arbor. And people don't know how to drive. They're like stopping and slowing down. So I figure, oh well, this is a problem. I'm going to go up to a different route and catch it later on. Aha! I'm so smart. And then I go up, and I'm going to catch it 2 miles, 3 miles up, and the highway ramp's closed. So I go all the way back and start the route again to get back on where I originally got on the highway. This time I stayed in the merge lane and I didn't get over. And even though they stopped, once you got, I don't know, 200 yards, you started going 50, 60 miles an hour. And then you finally got up to 80. And there's a problem here. I mean, there's 3 highways that are all under construction at the same time. It's unbelievable. And then there's like major roads where I go to Chinese is got construction. There's construction all over the place. I think the guy in charge is an idiot and doesn't know what he's doing. There's no planning going on. They're doing like the whole highway, and they're doing chunks here and chunks there, but they're never getting anything done. So in other words, they're doing 6 mile to 8 mile, but but the whole highway is closed, like from the airport all the way up, to 8 mile, the highway's closed, or it's got one lane closed. Instead of doing a chunk here, let's do 6 to 8. Okay, now let's do 4 to 6. Okay, let's do 2 to 4. They did the whole fucking highways, and it's a mess. They don't know what this is going to take years because they don't know what they're doing, and they're trying to do the whole thing at once. I don't know where they get budget for it, but whatever. Welcome to Michigan, the worst, the stupidest people in charge here. Anyway, so that was it. So I drove up north. It was nice, but I get tired. My feet were tired after about 2 hours of walking. My feet like start crying. Go, hey, Dad, let us sit down. I was sitting down a little. My back tightened up a little, but okay. And but it was a good time. I enjoyed it. So on July 5th, let's look at gold. Gold is on the paper gold is 23.89. We almost got 20. But notice no 10 o'clock dip, no 12 o'clock dip, no 2 o'clock dip. Goes from 23.62 all the way up to 23.90. It goes up $30 and really hasn't pulled back. 23.89. And look at silver, 31.22. So without the US's participation, there's no dumps. And that's what I was saying. I thought we'd see 2,400, which we still might. It's open till 6. And we can go from there. So it's still almost 2,400. So we made another $32 of paper gold. I went to the coin shop the other day. They're actually closed yesterday, today, tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday, which I was shocked they'd be closed today. They're a coin shop. They're not like General Motors where you're taking the week and, so the guy closed the thing down. He must be doing okay. And, so I brought in, when I left you Wednesday, I got the little coin containers for the gold ounces. And I was very disappointed. I've returned them. So I had to go to a UPS and return it. And they give you a code on your email and they take it and off you go. So what happened is the ad says they're for 1 ounce gold, but I'm assuming they're protected 1 ounce gold, not 1 ounce gold that's by itself. So the tube is too small if you have the protector on it. But if you take the gold out of the protector, you can fit it in. But then I had the white ones, the silver ones that I always use. And I'm looking at the two back to back, and the silver one, the white one's so much bigger and more spread out. It still can't take the 1 ounce, but it can take the maple leaf because it's a little smaller circumference coin than the eagle. So I took my Cougarans out of my protection and I put them in. And then I put the white silver next to it. This is the stupidest thing. If I want to, I could just get another white silver at the coin store and, that holds the 20 and put them like that. But I don't want to, I want them protected. It's like this. I don't want the card exposed. I want the card in the protector. So I want the gold in the protector because I hear if it's scratched, I'll lose value on it, even though it's still 1 ounce gold. So I'm like, I don't want to get anything out with these gold coins. The air will all be protected, especially the protector doesn't cost anything at the coin store. So I returned. I got 5 of them, but they were absolutely worthless. This is why. It says the description was not what it appeared to be. I don't need a 1 ounce coin that I can't put the protector on. I said I can put that in the silver one. I don't need it. This is supposed to be for the coin and the protector. It's not big enough. And it was too small. My white one's like this, the silver one, and this one was like this big. And, and then the hole for the white was this, and the hole for the other was like this. So it was like, yeah, I already got the whites. If I want to take the gold out of out of my plastic protector, I don't need that. I got the white. I got the silver one if I want to, but I don't want to. I want to leave them in the container. Anyway, so I returned it. They didn't have a problem with it. But it was very misleading because you're looking for a 1 ounce. It's like, let's say I was looking for a poker chip, a casino chip holder where I could slide all my all my casino chips in. Like, here's the sands. But notice they're in a plastic container, right? So I need it big enough to take the plastic, not the chip. So don't offer me something that I got to take the chip out of the container. You got to protect your valuables. It's just the way it has to be. Anyway, so I returned that, and I did that this morning. So this morning I was busy. I had to go to the bank, and then I had to go to the UPS store to drop that off. Gold store was closed, and I did one other thing. What was the other thing I did? The bank. Oh, then my credit cards. I got new credit cards that because the dates expired. So all of a sudden, I'm trying to send Jenna a RIA. I can't send it because the card expired 6/24. The new one's 6/28. And then when I went to the gym, the card had expired, so they couldn't pull the monthly out. So I'm going in, editing. I can't even edit. You kind of delete the card and bring in the new card. It's crazy. I don't know why I can't just go in and edit the card. I did on the utility, but like at the gym, I couldn't. Anyway, so that's more fun we got. I watched Mark McGuire today. It was a terrible show. He has some guy on. Oh, it needs no introductory, and it was like this guy, Peter. It's Peter Gandridge, and everybody knows him, and I'm like, who the fuck is he? And so I was watching him, and these guys are idiots. They don't understand how the stock market works. So he starts talking about, first they talk about gold manipulation. Well, we already know about paper gold and derivatives and Eddie Murphy. That's not anything new, but that's about to get blown up by Brics, and Comex won't have the gold to keep doing the manipulation. So we're already aware of paper gold and physical gold. And then he starts talking about the mining stocks. Now, there's one thing you got to understand about stocks. The only time they go up is it's an auction. So from Apple to IBM to Ford, it's all an auction. If nobody buys Ford stock, it has, and they're selling, it has to go down. Any activity. So the more buys than sells, the stock goes up. What causes the stock to go up? It's future sales, future revenue, future earnings. So we know where we are today. What's Ford's outlook? Well, we're going to make $5 billion because of the electric car, and the stock goes up. And then you realize, no, the electric car is not selling. We're going to lose $5 billion. So the stock goes down. And then, so once the news is out, it goes down. And then you need new news to say, oh, okay, we've done this and that and that. Say, oh, we got a new car. It's not electric. Sales should do well. So sales will go up. So profit will go up. So the stock will go up. And that's really how a stock works. So the guy's wondering why the gold stocks aren't moving. Why aren't the miners moving? Because nobody's buying them. Because nobody believes the gold price because it's paper. So why would I buy gold stocks? I'm in Apple and Amazon and Microsoft and all these 5 or 6 stocks. Well, all the stocks are dropping. He's not mentioning that the whole market's dropping, but these 5 or 6 stocks. So all the money going in is let's buy Apple and Amazon, and that's it. And so all the money's going into just those stocks, which makes no sense. They're way overvalued. I would not tell you to buy them, but I understand the game. Every day they go up a point. So I'm making money. Okay, that's fantasy land. Okay, that's going to stop, because once you look at what it's worth and what it's selling for, it's two different. It's apples and oranges. So if it's worth 100 and selling for 2, how can it be selling for more than what it's worth? That's the problem. So he doesn't understand why the gold and silver mining companies are, because nobody's buying them. Pure and simple. nobody's buying them because they're all in these other stocks. And again, it's all in auctions, just like it's just like eBay. So I'd rather be in Amazon than gold stock because the gold stocks don't move because the gold price doesn't move. But I don't know why. Oh, it's price fixed. Oh, it's Comex, but they don't know that, so they just don't see the miners move. When the miners move, everybody will jump into them, but right now they're not, which we understand, and that's why we say buy physical gold. It's cheap and it's going to go to the moon, and I would think those stocks would go with it. But we know that's why it's not going now. Anyway, then he talks about the Brics currency. And again, he realizes that I'd rather be in gold than Brics because Brics. Brics. I thought he was talking Bitcoin. I thought he did talk Bitcoin. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin a fellow traveler or another whatever? And it's not money. It's not gold. If you lay down gold and well, you can't even lay down a Bitcoin next to it. There's no way that it's the same thing. You'd rather have gold. Bitcoin's just it's like a baseball card. It's there. It goes up and down, but there's really nothing there. At least I own, Bitcoin in this. At least I have the Mahomes in my hand. Bitcoin, I don't. I know everybody wants to be in Bitcoin and make money. Of course, everybody wants to make money, but it's not. You're not going to do it. It's more manipulated because now Larry Fink got involved, and they're doing ETFs, and the thing's even more manipulated than gold and silver. Then they talk a little about the Brics currency, and it's coming by October, gold-backed currency. We've listened to Mark McGuire last show, so there's no reason to listen to him again, but it's coming out, and when the gold comes out, the gold price will go up, the dollar is going to go out. I was just talking to my friend Scott before I started about Daria, and I said, well, I don't know how to help her because when Brics comes out in October, September, the dollar won't be worth anything. So right now I help her with rent. So I give her $200. She can pay rent with it because the ruble is 98 to 1. Well, when the dollar goes down, because the gold-backed Brics will raise it, my dollar, I won't be able to give her money for rent. And I don't think she understands that. So anyway, that's it. So it's gold back and gold, and the dollar can't compete with gold. So they're coming out by October. So that'll be good news. Brics accruing gold. We already know all of them are buying the gold. Let's see, the national debt. Yeah, we know it's at 36 trillion. Not a surprise. How many people realize gold is a first tier money? Well, we do. He acts so surprised, like nobody in the world knows except for him and Mark that gold's a first tier money. It's like, what are we doing here? Are we invisible? I teach it, and we all know it, and they act like nobody teaches it, nobody knows it. And I'm just like, whatever, guys. We all know gold's the answer. Gold's the only lifeboat out there, and I've told you that for 2 years now. So we're all in sync with this Peter guy. And then how would Peter weight gold and silver? He thinks silver is good because it's an industrial metal. So he doesn't get it. It's money, so it'll be good with money. So overall, I rate this guest like a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being good. Really not. I don't know why he keeps having these guests on. Oh, this guy needs no introduction. I said, who is this guy? I don't know who he is. I wouldn't follow him. So I think he brings his friends on so you'll start following him and buy shit from him, which I really don't like because I think it's bullshit. But the title "So Changing" is just a joke. It ain't going anywhere. It's what, 31 today. It'll be back to 29, but that's all it does. But we know that because it's not a tier one asset. But we know it's going to break because China and India are buying it outside of Comex, outside of the ring fence casino. So because they're buying it from other vendors, not Comex, they're going to pay more price for it, and that'll change the impact. And then when the dollar goes out, gold starts taking over. Then silver will, because gold will get so expensive that they'll do it with silver. Anyway, so that was the guy. I was not impressed. But I would not waste your time. And I think we watched Mark McGwire yesterday. Okay, so that's basically it on Mark McGwire and the guy. You've see what puzzles me is these guys come across like experts, and they don't have a clue what makes a stock go, and they don't have a clue about paper gold. Like he's saying, it's manipulated. Well, it's Comex. That's what Comex is. How do you not know what Comex is? You're an expert. And you don't know what Comex is. Of course, it's paper gold. And we want physical. And it's hopefully coming soon with Brics, but we'll see. So that's the problem there. All right, let's go to baseball. So baseball, I did my own picks yesterday. I didn't do a class because I got up at I left about 10:30. I went and got gas here. It was a cheap station, and I filled up, and then I went on the highway twice until I finally got onto the highway, and I got there about 12. It took me like an hour. I think I left. I finally left about 11:45, trying to leave at 11, and then and I got there by 1. And I stayed till about 5, which is because they were only open till 5. So I was debating about going up today when it's open till 7 and have a bigger day. But it's still, there's something about getting out on July 4th. I think is I could go today, but going on July 4th is better. So I did that. So yesterday's picks, I had Houston over 8. Winner, Cleveland under 8.5. Winner, Detroit over 8. Winner, Philly under 8. Just lost. Texas under 8. Scherzer pitched 2-1 game. Baltimore under 7. I lost. And Arizona I won. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. Good day. So I'm expecting, like yesterday, you guys can figure like Scherzer was pitching. Chris Sale pitched, and just you would know what to do. All right, so let's go through today's games. They're on at 6:40. It's 4:40. You got 2 hours. All right. The Mets and Pirates. Luis Severino 5-2, 3.42 against Paul Scanes, our Pittsburgh guy. 4-0 with the 2.06. The Mets have been playing good. They've been hitting good. So let's see what Scanes can do. So let's go Pitt under 7.5. And we'll go 3 units because we're a little worried that the Mets have been playing well, but the Skynes should be able to cool them off. The Cards and the Redskins, Sonny Gray for St. Louis, 9-5 with a 2.98. Patrick Corbin, 1-8 with the 5.49. So here's let's go St. Louis, 5 units. And this is what I like is, 2.98. He's 9-5 with the 2.98. Gets a 1-8 with the 5.49. This is where the record matters. You're looking at, not only does he have a 5.49 ERA, he's 1-8. The guy doesn't win games. All right, the Red Sox and the Yankees. The Yankees minus 140 and 8. Tanner Hoke for Boston, 7-6, 2.67. Nestor Cortez, 4-7 with the 3.51. The game is in Yankee Stadium. 2 pretty low ERA guys, although they've both been hitting fairly well, and then they they go to sleep for a while. I'm going to go under, but I'm not going to bet it under 8. I cringe when it's like when I got to take the Yankees under, and Aaron Judge, and you're like, I won't bet it, but it is the prudent play. Tanner Houck, 2.67 ERA, Nestor Cortez, 3.51 for the Yankees. So it's, but Tanner Houck's 7-6 at the 2, so it'll be tough. But, it's 8, so I'm just going to watch that one. The 49ers and the Browns in a exciting game. Cleveland minus 185 and 8. Eric Miller for the 49ers, 2-2 at the 3.69. Tanner Bibby, 7-2 at the 3.47. I like Cleveland here, but I don't love them. It's similar ERAs, but the difference is Eric Miller's 2-2 with the 3.69 ERA. Bibby's 7-2 with the 3.47. So for that reason, I kind of like it. And then let's go to our support, and let's go to Cleveland. 2.50 ERA, 2.45 batting average. 49ers are 4.47 ERA, 2.47. So you got to believe that when we get to the late innings, Cleveland will have a field day on the Niners, and the Niners aren't going to hit Cleveland. So I like Cleveland there. So let's go 3 units on the Brownies. Detroit and Cincinnati. Cincinnati's 128 and a half. Reese Olson, Mr. 2-8 with a 3.32 ERA. Carson Spires, 2-1 with a 3.13 ERA. So, Detroit can't hit. They got a good ERA pitcher. Cincinnati swept the Yankees. I think Cincinnati is going to win this game. I'm going to take Cincinnati. 3 units. I don't like Reese Olson. I think he's got a low ERA, but I don't really like him. He's 2-8. I'm not going to bet him to win a game at 2-8. Maybe if he gets to 4-8, 5-8, then I can say, yeah, he can win, but he can't for whatever reason. And he's just doesn't know how to win, probably. And let's go. Chicago, Miami. Drew Thorpe, 2-1 with a 4.43 against Brian Honing. 0-0 with a 1.83. Let's look at this Brian Honing. 0-0 with the 1.83. Wow, he's certainly pitched a lot. Oh, he's a bullpen guy. Okay. What the hell? Well, how have we gotten to the bullpen guy starting? What is that? You got 5 starters or 6 starters going every 5 days, 100 innings, and they're still getting hurt. So there's a problem, a fundamental problem of pitching. These guys throw too hard, and it fucks their arm up. Instead of just throwing what's naturally in your body, like a golf swing, you swing your golf club for your body type. Obviously, the pitchers aren't doing that, and it keeps, hey, Greg and John, happy 4th. They're obviously not doing that because these guys are still getting injured. Why is this guy, Brian Honing, a reliever starting a game when you got 5, 6, 7 starters? So I don't buy that. Drew Thorpe, 2-2, 2-1 with the 1.4. Neither team can hit. Let's see, the White Sox, 4.37 ERA, 2.20 batting average. They're almost as bad as Miami. 4.04 ERA, 2.30. So they have bad bullpens. They can't hit. White Sox have been hitting a little bit. Drew Thorpe, I don't know what he's doing. Honing's going to go, 3 innings? So then it's all bullpen, which isn't very good. I think you got to go over here. Let's go Miami over 8, but I'm not going to bet it. I can't bet on these guys. These guys aren't even, they're minor leaguers. The Fiesta Resistance, Philadelphia and Atlanta tonight. Aaron Nola, 9-4 with the 3.43 against Max Fried, 7-3 with the 2.91. So this will be our game. Let's take Atlanta under 7.5. We'll play this for 5 units. So this will be our big game. What's going on? Did you take a day off yesterday? Yeah, I told you I didn't take a day off. I just didn't do class. I went up north and shopped and ate and relaxed. Um, but yeah, it's a normal day. I got my feet and back started hurting from all the walking I was doing. I can't do that. So I sat on a bench and stretched my back, and my feet were aching. And so I had dinner and just kind of relaxed. Tampa and Texas. We've got Tampa, Shane Baz, 0-0 with an 0-0 against Michael Lorenzen, 4-4 with 3-4-0. Tampa Bay's favored. I don't know what to do here. And I don't know how to do a 0-0 with a 0-0-0. The guy's never pitched. How am I supposed to bet him? So we'll relax there. Houston, Minnesota. Mini minus 155.8. Sean Dublin, 1-1 with the 4.91 against Pablo Lopez, 8-6. So we got to go. Oh yeah, I like this game. So Minnesota, Houston over 8. We're going to play this 5 units because Houston's been hitting the ball, and Minnie hits the ball. Minnie beat the Tigers. I was so excited yesterday, 13-2. I loved it. It didn't even go 9 innings. It was like rain. It was like rain out at the end, but it was a complete game. KC, Colorado. Again, you got the Colorado 10.5 hit run. Cole Rogan 5-6 with a 3.33 for KC. Kyle Freeland 0-3 with a 7.94. And I think we got to go KC over 10.5. They can hit the ball, and we should get a lot of runs there. Baltimore goes to Oakland. Baltimore 165, 8.5. Albert Suarez 4-2 with a 2.43 against Hollywood Hulk Hogan 1-2 with a 3.18. He's 1-2. We just noticed him, the Hulkster, wearing the NWO colors, I believe, at Oakland. He never was in like green and yellow as the Hulkster. It was red and yellow or black and white. So there's a little mix of both. Suarez was a reliever who's 4-2 now. Hollywood Hogan's 1-2. I think we got to go under here. Baltimore under. I think 2 things. You got so we'll go 3 units. You got 2 pretty good pitchers ERA wise. In Baltimore, traveling to Oakland, going to be tired. I don't know if they came from Seattle. I think they were at Seattle yesterday. So they're going to be tired on the West Coast. Toronto and Seattle. There's another tired team. Kevin Gausman, 6-7 with the 4.75. Luis Castillo, 6-9 with the 3.87. This should be an over, but Seattle can hit. The over-under is 7. I mean, this is a joke. Toronto can hit. Their pitcher sucks. So we got to go over here. Let's go over. Toronto over 7. We'll go 3 units. I mean, this is ridiculous. I know Seattle can't hit much, but we only need 7. And against this pitcher, I think that's a joke. Arizona, San Diego. Arizona minus 115, 8.5. Slade Ciccone, the guy from Cincinnati Kid. Slade, 2-6 with the 5.81 against Randy Vasquez, 2-4 with the 4.88. I mean, this has got to go over. San Diego over 8.5. I'm not going to bet it. And the last game, Milwaukee at the Dodgers, a really good matchup. The Dodgers are minus 200, 7.5. Are you kidding me? Aaron Chevalier, 2-6 with the 5.07. Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers, 8-5 with the 3.23. Now we can see why the Dodgers are too. This looks like a pretty bad pitcher, but I don't want the Dodgers. I'm not going to bet it. And apparently the Cubs have already played. What the hell? 4 o'clock. Cubs won 5-1. Justin Steele 1-3 with the 2.95. Beat Griffin Canning 3-9 with the 4.87. So there you have our 2.95 guy beating the 4.87 guy as he should. All right, so let's run it down. Pitt under 7.5, 3 units. St. Louis 5 units. The Yankees under 8. Didn't bet it. Cleveland, 3 units. Cincy, 3 units. Miami, over 8. No bet. Atlanta, under 7.5, 5 units. Houston, over 8, 5 units. Kansas City, over 10.5, didn't bet. Baltimore, under 8.5, 3 units. Toronto, over 7, 3 units. San Diego, over 8.5, didn't play it. That's baseball. I mean, it's just brutal. I mean, what, 15 games every day, you're studying the pitching, things are moving. And then I had a thing yesterday where Cincinnati beat the Yankees 3 straight. And now you got to look at streaks. That's our next variable. So we're looking, so now we've got to not only go through this, but we got to see where's the streak at. And it could be both ways. Oh, Cincinnati's won 3 in a row. I probably should bet them. We did. Versus, Seattle's lost 5 in a row. We need to bet against them. And I've done that a little this year. I think Oakland got hot, or Oakland was bad or something. And we were paying attention to it. But that's the only other thing you can really latch on to. It's because it's average, batting average and run average. The streak is very good, because then it's like if I throw a quarter up, that's how my uncle taught me. If I throw a quarter up 100 times, it should come up 50 heads, 50 tails. But in the journey to the 100, heads might hit 20 times in a row. And now tails could hit 20 times in a row. And so you're going to keep battling back, knowing that it should go 50-50, but it doesn't go heads, tails, heads, tails, heads, tails. It goes heads, 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 and then tails, tail, 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 tails. And that's how I learned to play blackjack, craps, and baccarat. Was all using the streak technique. So if a guy's throwing a lot of numbers at craps, I'll play it. If he's throwing a lot of 2s, 3s, 11s, and 12s, I'm going to play the don't pass. Blackjack, and baccarat, I'm going to play bank or player. And since you don't have a decision, you just, bank hit. Oh, I'll play bank. Bank hit again, bank hit again, bank hit again. And that's really what you're looking for, is just playing the streak. Roulette too, red and black, odd and even. I think I tend to play more color than odd even. So if red hits, I don't pay attention to the number as much as I pay attention to red hit, red hit, red hit, red hit. Keep going red. Do I buy fireworks? I used to, not anymore. When I was with my kids, we would go in the driveway and light off fireworks when they were real young. But lately, no, there's no point in it. So I don't. I watched some. The neighbor was lighting them up yesterday, so I went out and watched, and then I watched on NBC. But I think it's important to recognize fireworks and to watch them. I think that's the backbone of our country is the fireworks and the bombs bursting in air. That's very important. And I think that's the problem with all the immigrants coming across illegally. They're not Americans. They're coming across as Chinese or Mexican or whatever they're coming across as that. Like most people here, I think, realize they're Americans. They want the American way of life. But when you get to people crossing illegally, I don't think they think they're Americans. So they want the benefits without, going through any. I mean, I remember you had to study a test on the Constitution or citizen. There was all these citizen tests that, because my mom came from Canada, she had to know these tests or something. But it's funny, if you're born here, you're automatically a citizen. But if you come over from Canada, let's say, you can live here because you're married, but you're not to be a citizen. You have to actually. It was a big honor, right? Now this is a joke. What they're doing to our country is very sad. Anyway, but the fireworks are one thing that Americans can have, and I think it's very important not to lose that. But that's where I stand with that. Let's go be stoic for a minute. So here's Daria pulling her crap again. So her daughter had her birthday last weekend. She was going to an amusement park with her friends, and Daria worked. And then I heard from Daria Monday morning, hello, have a nice day. And I haven't heard from her since. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. We can bet on what excuse she'll use this time. She's done this pretty much every month. Pretty much, I lose her for 4 or 5 days. And am I losing? Is she always working and busy, but doesn't have time to say I'm at work? Although once in a while, she'll say I'm going to sleep, I'm going to shower and go to bed. Or once in a while, she'll say I'm at work, I'll text you later, which never happens either. But at least I hear from her. So I don't know what I got. I don't know if I'm being used or not. Because when I do, like it was her daughter's birthday, she wanted a bottle of perfume. So I gave her some money. I don't know how much perfume is in Russia for a little girl. So I sent it to her. And then, I need food. Okay. And then it's so it's almost like when we need something, we'll ask you. And if I don't need money for food or nobody's birthday, I don't need you. Then I'm not going to talk to you. What keeps me is the way she talks to me. I kind of can read it, and I can kind of feel it that she is caring and loving towards me. I can feel that, but I don't know, where are you all week? And then she'll probably text me, I assume tomorrow or Sunday, and whatever it is. And I'm kind of like, are you with somebody? Did somebody come in? Are you spending time with somebody else? And she's, no, I hate Russian men. Was it a Russian woman? I mean, it's like, how do you not have 2 minutes to text? And she doesn't even read the text. That's the puzzling part. So you got to get really stoic. But the problem is it keeps happening. And I keep telling her, look, I need to hear from you. I worry. Here we go again, 5 days. Okay, I heard from you Monday morning, but so you've been working 7, 8 days a week? So why don't you just tell me that? Yeah, I'm at work. Then I asked her about our Serbia trip, and I said, are we meeting in July, or are we going to meet in August? And I said, I want to go to Vegas, but I don't want to go if your mother's coming, then I don't want to interrupt that. No response. So I'm just scratching my head. And I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to go. And then I kind of dawned on me that her mother would be a month. She's not flying in for just a week. She'd probably fly in for a month. And then I thought, okay, well, then if I don't catch her the first week, I'll catch her the second week. So I stopped worrying about that. But I don't get that she doesn't read the text. How do you not read the text? That makes no sense, right? Wouldn't you be curious if I left you something, like to not even read it? And it's so weird because anybody that texts me, I read it. I mean, as long as it's a friend of mine, right? Irina or Jenna every day, Daria. My card fucked up on Jenna this morning. I'm trying to send her a RIA because I can't do PayPal. And the card, it turned over like 6/24. Now it's 6/28, my expiration date. And so apparently I can't just go in and edit it, right? And it won't take it. So it says it expired, and then I had to go in and delete it and actually enter the card again with the 6/28 date. Then it took. So anyway, that's what happened. But see, Jenna I hear from every day. But Jenna knows about Daria, so she probably thinks she's competing. Daria doesn't know about Jenna, and maybe I should bring that point up. Like, yeah, I'm going to go with my friend Jenna to, somewhere, waiting for you to figure out, get it. But I don't know. I just, all of a sudden, I need a babysitter to watch my daughter so we can go on a vacation. I'm like, really? There's nobody in Russia that you can ask to have your daughter babysat. or I'll come to Russia, and she's scared to have me come to Russia because she thinks Putin will put me in jail or something because I'm an American. I think that's what she's scared of. Anyway, so again, Stoic, but I'm not as bothered like I used to be. Like I'm not worried about her, not at all. And did she break her phone again, or did the daughter need the phone again, or what happened? But it'll be a song and a dance that I'm starting to like. Okay, whatever. You're gone somewhere with a week for a week. Are you meeting guys? I don't know. You're Russian. Are you meeting guys, or what are you doing for the week that you can't even text me? Like your phone's not available, but yet I see you on the phone. Like today, she was on before I came on. It was like 3:30. She was on line. Now I don't know how WhatsApp works. If like I got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and I'm checking gold, and Jenna texts me because for her it's 8, 9 in the morning. Oh, are you okay? I see you're up. I wasn't on WhatsApp and I wasn't on with Jenna. I was just reading the gold. So I think if you get on your phone, it looks like you're online on WhatsApp. So I could be wrong with Jenna or Daria that she's on WhatsApp. She could just be taking a phone call or just checking emails or something, not necessarily on her WhatsApp. But it is strange that how do you not? You love me. How do you not? I texted you. I've texted you because it shows you in the WhatsApp screen. How do you not answer that? That I can't understand. I don't understand a whole week and not talking to me or not even reading my messages. I don't quite understand. And then the message I get, oh, I broke my phone and I couldn't respond to you. That was the last message. So I'll get it tomorrow or Sunday. I'll let you guys know, but it's just a weird, it's a culture thing. She doesn't like Russian guys is what she tells me. So I don't really know. I don't really understand it. It makes no sense to me. But again, that's the hard part about cultures. I have an American culture. I'm an American male. She's a Russian female. So our cultures are totally different. Yet I know other Russian girls who would respond right away, or Jenna. I mean, she's Ukrainian, which to me is the same. And if I text her, she gets it. She sees the text and she responds to it. So I'm not really sure what the problem is, but I don't know. It's my friends say don't pay her rent and see what happens. I'm going. I don't think anything would change. I don't think I would mysteriously meet her if I didn't pay rent. I don't see any positive out of it. So if we analyze it, okay, I won't pay you for rent or food, so you can starve and not have a place to live. And then so she'll meet me? Oh yeah, now I can meet you because you didn't pay rent and food. I mean, see, I don't know that doesn't make sense either. So anyway, that's where I'm at with it. It just really doesn't make sense. So we will see. But that's the game I've gotten into, and it's totally different than with Jenna, but we've met 5 times on vacations. Where Daria, I haven't met her yet. So I don't know. Maybe she's scared to me. Put it this way. Let's say you see this really hot girl. Maybe she's a waitress, maybe whatever. She works at Target. And you fantasize that you'd like to go out with her, but you got to get the balls up to ask her out. That's a whole different animal, seeing her and liking her, and then actually seeing her and going out with her. And I think that could be part of Daria's problem. She wants to be with me or meet me or whatever, but when push comes to shove, when are we going to meet? Then she has a hard time with it. I don't know. She's married, divorced, has a kid. So Russian girl, they're pretty tough. So I don't know what is really behind it, but it is kind of interesting. Yeah, Jenna's totally opposite. So I shake my head, Bobby. I don't know. That's Stoic. All right. Let's talk gambling. So again, gambling is taking your money and investing, be it at the casino, be it playing poker, be it stocks and bonds, be it in the bank, be it gold and silver. But people, you've got to realize it's all the same. It's all, there has to be demand for the product that you're buying. If it's Amazon, if it's Oreo cookies, if it's Disney, if it's a bank, if it's a CD or a real estate trust, tack on Wall Street guy, or just putting your money in the bank's a gamble. And you're trusting that if you're trusting the government to do the right thing, you got a problem, because we all know government's not doing the right thing. Government is in it for themselves. The thought was supposed to be the government by the people for the people. It is now the government doing what they want to do, and they don't give a fuck about you. So you have to realize the change. So nobody should be trusting the government. You trust the government, you're out of your mind. I mean, what would you trust them? They did 9/11. They did the fake walk on the moon. The Kennedy assassination, the other Kennedy assassination, all these wars, taking the dollar off the gold standard. That's your government fucking us up every step of the way. So I really don't know what you trust them in. Now, Mark McGuire's assumption is this is fiat currency. It's all a trust thing. Do you trust that it's worth something? Do you trust the government? And I argue it's in the beginning, yes, but as they print it to 150 trillion, then the trust goes, because you've printed it to death. The key is printing it to death, because that's what the inflation is. So you're trusting a government to print the money obediently, like wisely. Like, we're only going to print a little bit. We're not going to print 150 trillion. We're not going to print 1 million and stick it in our pockets, which is exactly what happened. The government should never have a monopoly on printing, and they do, thanks to JP Morgan. They run the Federal Reserve, so JP Morgan prints the money. So it's too easy for them to print a little extra and a little extra and a little extra. That was Money Heist 1, where they went into the bank and the gang found the printing presses, got the paper, and printed $1 billion worth of euros, running the printing press, which is exactly what the government does. But you notice they got smarter in the second one. They stole the gold. So really all the money they printed was a waste of time. But you notice how they didn't steal Bitcoin from anybody. Nobody's stealing Bitcoin. They're only stealing gold. So you got to really understand that. That's really what it's what gambling is. Gambling in itself is, you're looking at odds. If you're playing dice, it's the odds against the 7. So it's a hard gamble. It's a 7 going to hit, which is 6 and 1, 2 and 5, 3 and 4, or is a 5 going to hit? Well, the odds say a 7, but even though the odds say it, the 5s and the 9s still hit. Then you got to make sure your odds are correct. The 10 and 4 have to be 2 to 1. There's only 2 chances to hit. There's the 1 and 3, the 2-2, and the 2-2. That's it. That's the only chance you got of it. So you got to get 2 to 1 odds on it. Where the casinos start getting used, they don't give you 2 to 1 odds. They give you 9 to 5 instead of 10 to 5, right? That's how the casinos start cheating you. And MGM's the worst. Never gamble at MGM. So why do you gamble on blackjack and craps and baccarat? Do you even understand what the odds are? Are they correct? That's why all this who's going to win the Heisman and who's going to win the Rookie of the Year is such bullshit. Oh, I found that odd thing. NFL Rookie of the Year. All right, so here's your odds, and I laughed so hard when I saw this. So Are these odds even accurate? Do you know? Are you getting fair odds? I just told you you should get 2 to 1 on the 4 and 10 in craps, right? You should get 7 to 6 on blackjack. That's what they give you. Um, there is small odds on the bank and back rack, and then uh, your odds on red and black and odd and even and craps are not correct because of the green 0 0. So you're betting red. There's 36 numbers, so it's 18 red, 18 black. They give you 2 to 1. But wait, there's a 0 and a double 0, which aren't included in the odds. That's where they get you, and that's what they aim for. The dealer aims for the 0 and the double 0. So if you're ever betting blindly, just bet on the 0 and double 0 because it's what they aim for. But with that said, you got to know what your odds are. Are they correct? Is it a good bet? Right. So let's look at NFL offensive rookie of the year odds. This has to be the stupidest bet I've ever seen. So it starts off with Caleb Williams at 125. Is that even a good odds? I wouldn't bet that. I would bet against that, but I would never bet that. There's no way Caleb Williams is going to be the offensive player of the year. Then we come to Jalen Daniels at 650. Now he might because he's that good. And Washington's going to be helter skelter. I think the 650 there, I would do way more than the Caleb Williams at 1.25. That's an impossibility. Caleb Williams, he'll be lucky to throw 10 touchdowns. Are you kidding? Jaden runs very well. Caleb doesn't run. Jaden runs very well, plays that LSU offense, and I'm sure he learned a lot more at LSU. So I think that maybe at 650 is a much better bet than Caleb 1.25. Then Marvin Harrison at 750, no chance. No wide receiver is going to win it. I mean, this is the NFL. He didn't look that good at Ohio State. I don't know why he was drafted so high. Then we got Malik Neighbors, LSU wide receiver. Who's going to throw him the ball? He's not going to catch 10 passes. He doesn't have a quarterback. Daniel Jones is going to hit him. And the other team won't know he's the best receiver on New York and double team him. See, in the NFL, you double team the guy. He ain't going to catch it. Okay, so Jaden Daniels, 650. Marvin Harrison, 750. Forget that. Malik Neighbors at 1,500 is impossible because he's not going to get the ball enough. Why would a wide receiver win it anyway? That shows you how fixed this is, right? They're just throwing names out there hoping you'll bet. Oh, I'll bet Marvin Harrison at 750. You got to be out of your mind. Then we come to the real problems. J.J. McCarthy, quarterback, 1,700. This guy's not even going to play. More or less, he's going to win offensive thing. You got to be kidding. Drake May, plus 2,000. Drake May shouldn't he be drafted? I seriously don't see the plus 2,000 there. That's another waste of time. Xavier Worthy, wide receiver with the Chiefs, plus 2,000. Are you kidding me? I think he's going to go to Kelsey, if he needs one, not Xavier Worthy or this Rice guy that he went to last year or Pacheco, but he ain't going to Xavier Worthy. That's ridiculous. Now, here's a very interesting one is Bo Nix, plus 2,000. That one I would definitely like because he's going to be really good, and he's on Denver with Sean Payton. He'll start right away because they don't have anybody. And, give him 3 or 4 games to learn the offense. I mean, he shouldn't even be playing this year. All these quarterbacks should get a year to learn the system. But he could win it if they get hot. Keon Coleman, wide receiver on Buffalo, no chance. Romo Ducey, this has got to be the stupidest pick, plus 3,000. Yeah, you got EJ Moore there, RJ Moore, and then you got the guy from San Diego. When's this guy going to see the ball? I mean, come on. There's no way this guy even plays. I mean, he's the third receiver with those 2 guys. And you got Caleb, his quarterback, going to be sacked all the time. That's a terrible one. So I would think Bo Nix at plus 2,000 and Jaden Daniels at plus 650 are the best two on here. I would never take Caleb at 125. Now, the one I don't see is Michael Penix. Where's he? Why can't I bet him? Because when Cousins, if he's even healthy with his Achilles, we know he sucks. He sucked before the Achilles. So that means Penix will be in there by game 3 or 4. He could light it up. We've seen him. So I would rather bet Michael Penix over McCarthy, Drake May, Xavier Worthy, Keelan Coleman. I mean, this is, if this is it, I mean, then it's a 3-man race. It's Jalen Daniels. It's Bo Nix. It's really a 2-man race. Caleb won't have anything to do with it. So be careful there. Now, you're gambling, so you need to understand what you gamble with. You need to understand, why are you gambling? Are you gambling to make money, or are you gambling for the excitement? So I'm in Vegas and I'm playing poker, and the guy sitting next to me, I'm here for the fun. I brought a couple thousand, and if I lose it, who cares? So they almost go to Vegas expecting to lose. I go to expecting to win. I'm playing poker. I'm betting on football, which know I'm going to win there. So when I go to win. I don't play slot machines. I used to play $2 blackjack. Don't play craps too much. Back rack maybe a little if I can find a cheap enough table. I'm going to start playing $50 hand blackjack. I'll go through a back rack. I'll go through $1,000 in 20 minutes. I'm not there to do that. So I will play poker, and we'll see what happens, and then I will bet football. That's how I go to Vegas. So I don't know. But that's my point. So why are you going? Are you going to Vegas to lose money? Well, of course you're going to lose. Even if you get up, you go, I'm here to have a good time. I don't know how losing money is having a good time. I got better ways to have a good time. But not going to Vegas and losing, how is that a good time? So now your other gamble, now you got to understand one thing. So this guy in the video with Mark McGuire today was talking about the gold and mining stocks, not understanding why they're cheap. What do you mean you're not understanding? You know why any stock's cheap. Nobody wants to buy them. Some people sell them, but nobody wants to buy them. His conclusion was, well, they're all buying Bitcoin now. Well, it has nothing to do with it. I mean, so in other words, they're buying Bitcoin because it's going to go to $1 million. So everybody blindly goes into Bitcoin because it's going to go up to $1 billion because of what? It has no value. It's not backed by gold. Is it money? No. What's the gamble in Bitcoin? Excuse me, I need some water. Feel a little dehydrated. My head's spinning around. I got the dizzies a couple weeks ago, and they went away, and everything's fine. And I got them like last night, sitting on my couch. I must sit on my neck funny or something. Anyway, why are you in Bitcoin? Because you think it's going to go up. Why? Do you have an idea why? No. It's money. It's not money. It's the same thing as a baseball card. It's a collectible. That's all it is. It's not money because you can't go to the store with it. And money is what everybody wants. Not everybody wants Bitcoin. So you're in it for what reason? Because it went up to 60,000. So it's going to go up again to 60,000. Oh, is that how it works? So Bitcoin's really a Russian thing to launder money. That's what it is. So how is it going to go up? Only if more people buy it than sell it. So if everybody buys it and nobody sells it, it'll go up just like a stock, just like Apple, just like Amazon, just like the gold and silver stocks. People think they're connected. As so his point was, well, as I'm seeing the gold price go up, I thought that my gold stocks would go up. And they're not really related. A little bit, but not really. I mean, as the price of silver goes up, then the silver in the mines should be worth more, but doesn't seem to be connected. So we're buying physical gold and silver. It's mostly central banks. It's because of Brics. So the demand right now is in the physical market. We're blowing up Comex as they're running out of gold to play the Comex game. You can only play the Comex gold game if you have gold. If you don't have physical gold, you can't play it. And they are running out. Very little left. So that's why the stock isn't going. Stocks only can go up if more people buy than sell. And they're all, like I said, in Apple and Amazon. He's blaming Bitcoin. Well, people are buying Bitcoin, and I'm like, no, they're that's not taking anything away from your gold and silver mines. People just aren't interested in your gold and silver mines. Other stocks go up. Why is Apple going up? If all the money's going into Bitcoin, Apple wouldn't go up and Amazon wouldn't go up, but they're going up. So it's a bunch of horseshit. There's just no demand for gold and silver. The brokers don't put it in. And as I said, the reason Wall Street doesn't, like he was talking about like analyst or your guy, your broker, your financial advisor. And, I'm sure he's listening here because he said exactly what I said. There's no commission on gold. So they work on, they're salesmen. They got to sell paper products to get commission. And that's how they keep their job. Well, there is no paper on gold. Gold's gold, right? So in other words, I can sell a stock and make commission on it, right? I sold 100 shares of stock, I make $50 commission or whatever. Or the Attack on Wall Street guy, he buys the real estate trust. And so the guy who sold it to him makes the commission out of that fund that they sold the fund, and he makes commission. And that's how he did it. That's why he did it. But you'll never see him sell gold because there's no commission on gold. Gold is physical, and you're buying the gold bar. That's why they do the ETFs to try to make money because they're paper, or the IRAs are paper, or the stocks are at least paper. They don't want you in physical. That's why they don't tell you about it. That's why the banks buy the big James Bond bars, because that's what the central banks are doing. That's why Russia and China, they got the bars. Us little guys buy the ounces. But that's why you don't listen to a financial advisor, and that's why they don't sell gold and silver or advise you to it. Now, why is my whole portfolio in gold and silver? They're telling me, oh, no, you don't want it. You want it diversified. Really? And what else would I put my money in besides gold and silver at this point in time? Stocks? Not a chance. Bonds? Less of a chance. Real estate trust? No chance. Put it in an annuity at the bank? No chance. Because what this guy doesn't understand, and that's what really blows my mind. He's this financial advisor type of person, and they're all missing the point. The dollar's going to zero, and anything in paper is going to zero. But he misses that point. How do you miss that point? I mean, that's the most obvious point there is the dollar going to zero. So anything in stocks, bonds, or houses goes to zero. And yet he can't comprehend that. Well, you got to diversify. Well, yeah, I'm in gold and silver, Eagles and Maple Leafs. That's how I diversify. There's no way that you want to be in anything besides gold and silver because you want to be out of dollars. You want to be out of paper. And that's really the easiest thing to point out. So if you're gambling because you want to make money and you're in paper, you're going to lose money because the paper's losing value to zero because these idiots are printing it. So if you understand the story, it's very easy to have 99% of your portfolio in gold and silver. Where else would you put it? You can't leave it in paper. You can't leave it in the bank. And let's keep this very clear. Wall Street and the banks are the same. Wall Street are a bunch of banks, and the banks are a bunch of banks. The difference is the Wall Street banks sell stocks. Your regular Comerica or Chase or Fifth Third, they don't sell stocks. You can't buy stocks there. I mean, you can buy mutual funds, I guess, if you're investing, but you're not buying, like you do on the New York Stock Exchange. Anything to do with stocks is Wall Street, but they're just banks. So it's all banks. So you're getting out of the bank system. So you don't want to be in anything to do with banks. So therefore, if you're gambling, you're either in a casino or you're in a bank. Either way, you're fucked because you're not controlling. They're controlling your money, which you don't want. Why would you want it? That'd be like leaving your money with your wife, and then she doesn't know what she's doing. Next thing you know, you don't have any money because you lent it with your wife. I did that with Jenna. We were on a trip in Odessa, and I gave her the Ukrainian money. It was like $5,000. It was worth like $200. So I said, "Here, why don't you hold it, and then you pay for everything. You see what I have to do, right?" And then she starts paying for things, and then she runs out of money. She said, "I'm out of money." I said, "Well, you got to tell me you're out of money so I can get more money." She says, "You hold the money." It was funny. She didn't want to hold it. After that, it was like, no. You take care of the money. I'm the woman. You're the man. You take care of the money. It's funny. But that's the point of it is you gamble to win. If you're not gambling to win, then why? Then you shouldn't be gambling. But you don't realize you're gambling with the money in your bank. You don't realize that 100,000 you got in your bank for retirement, you're doing a heavy gamble and you're at huge risk. Now what the bank will do, it's that the dollar won't have value. Nobody talks about that. Egon a little, but they're not talking of the dollar. Well, in 10 years, the debt will be $50 trillion. And you're like, there won't be a debt in 10 years. There won't be a dollar in 10 years. This is all going away, and you better have gold-backed currency, or we're all moving to Russia. And yet people don't understand that at all. So that's the real dilemma of gambling. So you want to have more control, so you go to a casino than you do with stocks because you don't understand why stocks go up. And it's because of supply and demand. More people want to buy than sell. It's usually because of news of the future. Apple came out with a new iPhone 75 that transports you. You don't even have to get on a plane anymore. Oh, well, that's going to drive sales up. I'm going to buy Apple. And that's the idea. And then everybody runs into Apple because their perceived future earnings are high, right? And you don't go into Ford because they're not capable of anything in the future. But that's what you're looking at is you're trying to understand ways to make money. But everything you do is gambling. The gold we buy is gambling, but very little. It's almost not a gamble because we know what's going to happen, because we know the dollar's going out, and we know Brics is heavily buying gold and all the Brics central banks. Because we know that, it's not much of a gamble. We have like 99% that gold's going to go up and 1% it's not, versus Amazon. Do you have a 99% that's going to go up. And Bitcoin, do you have 99%? That's going to go up. Not when Larry Fink gets his hands in it. And then you have, real estate trusts. Are we sure it's going to go up? Are they going to default? So there's all these other variables going on. Then we get to football, and I try to go after the 95% games. We're pretty sure this game's going to win. That's why we're betting it, and we bet it a lot. So when I get to that field game and I put a big number up on, hey, 25 units, it's a lock. That's why, because it's probably a 95% that it's going to win. It doesn't always win, but it's 95%, not 100. Nothing's 100% in football. You can always get that injury, or even if it's a fixed game, when you're playing teasers, you take the fix out of it, right? If I'm laying a 7.5 point game, I'm down to 1.5. You can win by 7 and no more. They win by 6. We still win on the teaser. So that's why it kind of offsets the fixing. But a lot of stuff is fixed. Anything to do with the bank's fixed. Anything to do with the government's fixed. That's the beauty of gold. You can't fuck with it. Once you own the coin, it's yours. You don't owe anybody. The dollar, they owe you. So if I spend it, the store's trying to get their money out of it, right? So I paid my gym today with my debit card. So I gave them this, so they now have to go to the bank to get it. So the bank, it's an IOU to the bank. You owe me $23 for the professor's gym, or the RIA money. But that's kind of where you're at. What do they have? That's what we have is, sorry, my mind's thinking of something. So everything is kind of fixed, and it's all run by the banks run the government. So everything's run by the banks, Wall Street or regular street, right? So when you go into your bank, so here's an example today. I'm reading that, I read this to you the other day, that I think it was Bank of America and Wells Fargo and a few other banks are closing branches in 7 or 8 states. So not all the branches, but some of the branches are closing because more things are done online. So I go to the bank manager today after depositing a few $100s, and I said to her, I see some other banks are closing offices. Are you closing offices? And she doesn't know what I'm talking about. I go, oh, it's like Wells Fargo and Chase and a few others. I don't know. I haven't heard that. It's not at my level. I said, well, who should I talk to then? At what level are people being told this? She says, well, I wouldn't worry about it. And I says, so you want me to ignore the fact that other banks are closing? I says, what do I do if I want to take 500 out or put 500 in? I need a teller. Oh, no, you can just use the ATM. Is the ATM going to be open if you close the branch? Where's the money? If you close the branch, there's not going to be money in the ATM. So this will be the thing. But I guess there's ATMs at gas stations and stuff like that you can use. But I like to use the teller. Like today I gave her $220 and say thank you. And okay, it's in my account. Perfect. But that's so be careful of that also. I don't want to stop using money. If they're going after the babysitter and the waitress and these people with money, like now the waitress is pretty much, I went to Coney Island and pretty much you're paying with your debit card anyway. So I do add the tip on there. So that's all kind of visible. The babysitters, yeah, like there's a lot of babysitters out there, right? So it's just people who work for money, maybe the cab drivers. Maybe the escorts, maybe if the girls in Amsterdam, I can't see them going to debit cards. That'd be weird. Yeah, do your debit card. But that's what we have. God, I'm like so dizzy. I get up and the room turns sometimes and I'm like this, but I'll be all right. I was okay last time. I'm probably dehydrated because yesterday I did a lot of walking. I didn't eat first, so it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm finally eating. Anyway, so keep that in mind. If the banks go out, you want to use money. Now, yeah, we get paid in a direct deposit and we pay rent with it and we go to the grocery store and we're using the cards, but it really is our money that we're using. My debit card only works if I have cash in my account or, a balance in my account. I better have $1,000 to use my debit card for $1,000. So keep that in mind. But again, all the gambling you're doing to win, you want the best return for your risk. And that's really what that's the gamble. And that's what you're trying to do. And that's why it's hard to buy stocks because it's manipulated. Michael Douglas is sitting there. Oh, I have Blue Star, so they're tanking it, and then he buys, and it goes up, and as soon as it goes up, they start tanking it again. How are you going to beat that? And then the banking instruments. Well, it's the good old government printing the money to zero. How are you going to defend that? So you got it in a nice CD. And here's the tech on Wall Street guy going, well, you promised it would give me 8 to 10% with no risk, guaranteed. Should have got that in writing, and then he would have had to pay you. But you lost all 60,000 because the company ripped up the contract and said, "Fuck it, it's worthless. We're ripping it up." Now you don't know anything, which is bullshit. So the guy didn't lose because he picked badly. He lost because the company fucked him. So how do you do that? And how do you calculate that in your risk? Which is why people bet football and play poker, because they don't want to have the banks and the government dictating to them. Anyway, so we know what's coming will be new currencies. You're just hoping Brics will be gold back. We're hoping ours, but we don't have gold, although people think we have 8,000 tons. We don't have any. And everybody knows that. And the big thing is if we did have it, we would show it. But we're not showing it. Well, we got 36 trillion in debt. When are we going to show it? And that's the problem. There's no way we have it. Okay. I don't know because I haven't physically opened the vault and seen, there's nothing there, but you can look around and get things. It's like, Dario, well, for 5 days, you can't even read my text. What the fuck is that? So you're kind of looking around for clues, right? Okay, Dario, what are you so busy doing that you can't even read the text or give me a hello, I'm working, whatever. And that's what Jenna can, right? So that's your problem. Okay, you're working. You take a bus to work and back. I assume in Russia there's internet like we have here. Like you don't have to be home to get the Wi-Fi, but maybe you do. I don't know. I would think on a bus. I know I've been to Russia. I've been to China. I've been to Germany and Barcelona and Austria and Switzerland, and I know my internet doesn't work, but it does work at restaurants and hotels. You sit down and have a tea, and what's your internet? But if I had European internet, my internet I'm sure would work in the cab. And so I can't imagine her internet doesn't work on the bus. I'd be surprised. But again, so you read the clues, right? So you're reading what's going on. Why is gold not going up? And then you realize it's price fixed. You go, oh, okay. And that's really so that's your risk, knowing that the demand, knowing the way things work, the more demand, the price goes up, the less demand, the price goes down on every stock and CD and money market. If there's demand, they give higher interest rates to get the demand. I'll give you 9%. Nobody bonds. I'll give you 10%. So again, more so with stocks, uh, the price will go up with demand. So if somebody's buying, the price goes up. If more people are buying than selling, the price goes up. So if we understand that, we understand how gambling works in the casino, except for poker's your own. You're on your own, which is why people like it. There's no odds like in blackjack where you get even money, or craps, the odds are bad. This is strictly me against you, and you're trying to guess what I have, and I'm trying to guess what you have, but we don't know because of we can't see the cards. But so if we relate this to Fort Knox, I can see by the way you're betting or not betting, did you make the flush or not? So it's the same thing. I can't see his cards, but I can get the way he bets and the way he acts if he's got it or not. And that's what it is in Fort Knox. I can't see the gold, but the way they act, I can tell they don't have any. Like I say, you guys ask me, do I have gold? And I show it to you. Here it is. So if I say, well, I can't show you, then it makes you not believe I have it. But why would I not show you if I have it? Right? I'm trying to prove. You've asked me, do I have it? And I can prove it to you. And that's how it is here, right? With Fort Knox, everybody says you don't have any. Yes, I do. Okay, produce it. Open the door. Why is that such a problem? Because we don't have any. If I open the door, you're going to see we don't have any. Because if they did, they'd show you. So again, you're judging it, even though you can't see by the breadcrumbs left to see that. And that's what it is. So why would I buy gold? Because you can see all the Brics countries buying gold. You can see they're going to go on a gold standard. You can see that the dollar's going to zero. So there's a lot of breadcrumbs leading to a higher price of gold, which makes it, why would I own anything else in my portfolio when I know this is going to go up? So what am I going to buy? What, Amazon stock because I want to diversify while the market crashes? And I'm in gold going up and the market going down, so I can say I'm diversified? What am I, out of my fucking mind? I mean, why would I diversify? Diversification to me doesn't make sense because it means you don't know what you're doing. Well, I'm not sure what's going to lose, so I'll play a little of this and a little of that and a little of this, and hopefully I'll make money. Well, I don't know what's going to go up and what's going to go down. Aha, that's your first problem. You should know what's going up and what's going down and play the ones going up. Then your portfolio will go up. But if you're not doing that, you're just guessing. Oh, yeah, I'm going to play 10 different stocks and hopefully they'll go up. Oh, my God. It's like betting every football game. Well, I'm going to bet every one. I should win some. Really? No, that's why we only bet specific games, because we're betting the best ones, the ones we feel. That's why it's funny when I was watching, you watched that movie, Two for the Money, Three for the Show with Al Pacino, that football gambling movie, handicapping. How'd you do today? Well, I was 12-2, and then the next week, I was 2-12, and you're like, how the fuck you can't pick 14 games? You're picking your best ones. You're not picking every game. You can't pick every game. Then I was watching that other blackjack one with Kevin Costner, who looked like he was 15 years old in it, and some woman that I don't know how she's even in it. And she was like this math genius. So she can, I don't know if she was counting cards or not. It didn't seem like it. Anyway, so Kevin takes her to this guy and he says, throw away all the formulas. And he teaches her how to feel the cards. So it's kind of like you can kind of see them and feel them. And I do that a lot, especially with football. and then she's unstoppable because she can now like feel the cards. And that's my point. Um, those are the games that you bet are the ones you can feel. And those are going to be 80, 90%, which is why I do so well. I don't sit there and pick every game because I don't have a feel for every game. So some of the games I can feel. Who's my 5-star today? Atlanta under 7.5. You could feel it because two good pitchers going. And then there's Minnesota, Houston over 8. I could feel because Houston's hitting very well. Whatchamacallit? Um, Alverde's, I don't think that's his name. God, how can I not remember him? But anyway, he's hitting like 300. Bregman's up to 270. Altuve's like 310, and Bregman's up to 260. And they got a couple other hitters. So they're hitting the ball. I expect runs, and the pitchers weren't that strong. And so with that said, the feel I got on that game was very strong, which is why I played it for a 5. Baseball is baseball. Too many variables. It's too often. So you can get a few feels a day, but it's really complicated because what do you do with it, right? How long is the pitcher going to go? So I feel this pitcher, but wait a minute. Oh, here comes the bullpen, and they're 3 pitchers, and they have bad ERAs, but they could shut you out or they could give up 10 runs. That's the variable that's really hard to figure is after the 6th inning, after that 100th pitch, and now they go to bullpen 7, 8, 9, you have no idea. There's no feel you can get for that. And then the batting average, there's nothing you can do with that because 40, well, what does that mean? Does that get you 2 runs or 10 runs? It's like Minnesota yesterday against the Tigers, scored, 13 runs? And if I look at their batting average, it's 248, and yet here they scored 13 runs on terrible Detroit pitching. Anyway, so that's where the feel comes in. You kind of look at the game and you get that feel that comes in and you go, yeah, they're going to win. And those are very successful, but more in football. I can see Mahomes, like the feel on Mahomes against Lamar in the championship game. And I got Mahomes in points. That was a lock. And then the Super Bowl, that was a lock. I mean, there was no way he wasn't going to win getting points, right? So you go with Mahomes. That's a feel. If Mahomes had been favorite, I don't think I'd have bet on Lamar as much. I probably would not have liked it. I probably would have went under. But with Mahomes being the dog, it was a joke. I mean, that's what you wait for. That's your field games. Or Joe Burrow's the same. Anyway, that's what gambling is. And you do it, you don't realize it. You're putting your money in the bank. You think it's safety, right? Well, my money's safe. I got 100 grand in the bank. It's safe. And you think it's safe, but it isn't because it's losing value all the time. This $36 trillion debt is not good for your money. It's too much and it loses value. And at some point, nobody's going to want it. And when nobody wants it because you printed so much, it's over. And they're not going to tell you they don't want to panic, but it's over. So you're taking a huge risk keeping your money in a bank, especially 100, 200,000, 500,000. You're taking huge risk with your monopoly money. So if you think it's safe, it isn't. And if it's in stock and you think it's safe, it isn't. Stocks are not safe. But you think it is. See, that's where the banks kind of scam you. They Madoff you. Oh, it's safe. Just like Madoff, right? Oh, I got my money in Madoff. It's safe. Look, I get 15% return every month or every year or whatever. And you think it's safe. And, what's funny is had Madoff played it straight and the money comes in and he pays out the people and he did well in his stocks, he still would have went bankrupt in 2008 because the stock market collapsed. So even though he's doing it legitimately, you're still going to lose everything, right? Oh, he went bankrupt because of it. Would that have made you feel better if he actually invested in the stocks and that's how he could pay me 15%? But he would have had bad times like in 2000. So you wouldn't have gotten the money you thought you got anyway with him playing it real. So again, I wonder what was wrong with this Ponzi scheme. I don't know. Had he just played the stocks normal, he'd have been wiped out and by 1990. I mean, everybody would have been wiped out. How is that any different than the mutual funds and the stocks that everybody gets wiped out in 2008 with anyway? So it's just not a Ponzi scheme, but everybody got wiped out except for me and people smart enough to see it coming. But that's the thing. It's gonna. But Madoff does the Ponzi, and he he sneaks by because he's not playing the game, and he's still paying out. So I'm not sure Madoff wasn't a better investment or a better gamble than the regular money markets and mutual funds in a stock portfolio. And I love when he asked, well, if you have to ask, maybe you shouldn't play. Yeah, the red light wouldn't have went on then. Oh my God, this guy won't tell me what he's doing. Um, that was the funny part when these guys who are like investors, who are Wall Street guys, got in Madoff and didn't know what he was doing. And then you really question you didn't ask him, how do you do it? And he told you nothing and you still invested in him? Like that Hervé Vallée guy from Europe. He invested billions of dollars and he didn't know what he was doing. Oh my God. I mean, people get what they deserve, but he made a lot more money in Madoff doing the Ponzi than he would have made him if he was playing it straight and losing money in the market every month like everybody else. He wouldn't have made as much and he would have lost more in the market. So most people would have probably lost everything, like in the real estate trust, like in Attack on Wall Street guy. He lost his 60 grand. What's the difference if he loses it in Madoff or he loses it in real estate trust? I mean, at least he could have made money in Madoff. But see, that's the point. So Madoff, if he kept going, if the Russian mafia would have printed more money for him, and JP Morgan would have gave him more money, he'd still be around now. These people would be, billionaires from him giving him the thing. And I don't know what's wrong with that. If I tell you I'll give you 15% a month, give me your money, and you do, and everybody else does, and I give you 15. What's wrong with that? I'm not investing it. I'm betting it on football games. I mean, but I'm really not investing it. I'm really just doing a Madoff. Would you care? Do you, without me, do you make money betting football? I doubt it. I hope so, but I doubt it because you got to really figure it out, which I have. Anyway, but mine's real and his is fake. But if I have bad weeks, I actually didn't bet, you would have won every week, right? But that's impossible. You can't. Just like baseball, you can't do football 100%. And but if you ask me how I bet my games, I'm not sure I would tell you that. Let the cat out of the bag. I analyze and I pick the games. And you could check my history page to see what I bet on, and then you see who I bet on and won. But yeah, it's very gambling itself is very, like, what do you do today? Where do you go to gamble? You've got 200 grand. What do you do? Do you go to gold and silver? Oh, that doesn't move. Do you go to the banks to go on stocks? Do you go into real estate trust? Do you go into money markets or mutual funds? Do you put your money in the bank? You're fucked nine ways from Sunday except for gold and silver. And the beautiful thing about gold and silver is you put it in your hand, you put it in your safe, and you lock it away, and it can't lose value. That's why we gamble in gold and silver. But you understand why, and you're the one doing it. So there's no scheme to it. It's just um, pure logic, right? It makes sense. I'm buying gold and silver because you can't print it and it can't go down. That's why things go down is you print them. That's why the money goes and loses value. Um, and Bitcoin, I get it. You want to make money on it. I understand that, but you can't. It's not a game to be played. It's not a game you can win, right? You're just not going to win with it because you don't even understand what makes it go up and down. Because Michael Saylor Simon says, go up. So it doesn't work that way. Gold's the only 100% you're going to make money with no risk. It's the only thing. And if you understand it's been paper gold and Comex is leaving the price down and not because of supply and demand, then you understand why let's see if it hit 2,400 yet. But that's why you understand that. $23.91, and it's just about 6. So almost got to 2,400. 23 now. Look at it straight up and very little down. Very little Eddie Murphy doing derivative down. 23.92, 31.21. The silver price, I would worry, will drop back to 30. The gold price, I don't know, because now that we're in the second quarter, what July holds. In other words, do they still have the gold to do that, or have they all moved to Bitcoin, the derivative people, or are they just in silver? So again, until silver gets off this Comex price fixing, it's going to be hit and run. Gold just about off of it should just take a run now. And the guy's talking. Oh, Mark, you blew the whistle on them, so they know it's price fixed. Okay, I didn't know Mark McGuire did that. It took me about a half hour to realize it was price fixed. Because one thing leads you to another. Oh, you mean Comex has the price? Oh, this isn't real. It's paper. It's all derivatives. Oh, well, then it's price fixed. Took me about a half hour to figure out it was price fixed. But see, that's the game. If you've got to first understand the game. Like he's blowing a whistle. Who are you blowing the whistle on, Mark? Who are you talking to? Because they're all in on it. So JP Morgan knows it's price fixed, and you're going to go to them? Well, we're the ones price fixing. You can't go to we're not going to do anything. We understand it's price fixed. So if JP Morgan knows you're going to run to JP Morgan saying it's price fixed, and they're the ones doing it. So I didn't understand his whole thing. Like he figured it out like it was a big deal. Like, yeah, we understand it's derivatives, Mark. And then we understand that it's all options. It's all paper. They're dumping a lot of paper, which is like inflation. So they're trying to inflate the gold and silver by causing all that. So you can see how inflation works. They dumped all these derivatives, making it look like there was more gold than there actually was because of paper gold. And the price went down. Well, what do you think happens here? They print $150 trillion. What do you think happens here? And where are they going to get the 1.5 trillion every quarter to pay off the debt? Where are they going to get that from? It ain't going to be taxes. They're going to print the money. And the more you print it, the less it's worth. So you're going to almost have to print 2 trillion to get the 1.5 out of it. Inflation causes higher interest rates. So you're going to need 2 or 2.5. You can't tax for it because you're not getting enough tax in because now people are getting laid off. Look at me. I'm not able to work. I can't find a job. My buddy asked me, now I've had 4 interviews with this one company, including the VP and the CFO. What the hell are they waiting for? Probably because they're afraid of the recession. We're in a recession. Don't kid yourself. Just because they haven't said it doesn't mean it ain't so. So we're in a recession, and you got to be very careful. That's why a lot of the prices can't go up, because they can't. They got to make. They got to stay. Coke has to stay in business. They got to sell Cokes. So if they raise the price too much, nobody can afford the Coke, and they're not buying it. Anyway, keep that in mind. So really ask yourself, why are you gambling? And look for the best return on investment with the least risk. And you come back with gold and silver. Great return, no risk. Then you get the football, very good return with little risk, following me. Baseball, I very, very light action. Craps, it's who knows how the dice is going to, you can get, well, the 7 should come up the most. And blackjack, they fuck the odds enough that you don't know. Baccarat, you could watch banker players, gives you a little bit of, like, the difference is in blackjack you can't bet the dealer, but in baccarat you can. You can bet either way. And then poker, which if you get good at, and you can read the other person to figure out what they have, you know, I can bet more if I know I got the other guy beat. Well, there's only 2 ways. Well, I got the nuts. I got 4 kings. I can't lose, so I can bet. Or I have a pair of aces and there's nothing on the board, and the way the guy's just checking, I know I'm going to win, because if he had something, he'd bet, because I've learned the player. So I've learned he tells me what he has by the way he moves or the way he bets. Okay, so I get a little bit more. I'm playing a player in poker versus playing the dice or roulette or the others. Or in the stock game, what's my risk and return? My risk is huge because it's being manipulated and controlled by other people. And yet I don't know if if there's more demand, it goes up. Oh, I'll just play Apple because it goes up every day. Well, only if you're smart enough to dump it. Like, okay, if I make 10 points, so if it goes from 100 to 110, I'm going to sell it. So if you can do that, you can win at stocks before it takes the dump to 70, right? Or like I say, like Luke wants to buy the gold and silver stocks. Well, there's no action on them. Nobody is bidding them up, so you're just going to watch them go, and you think, well, because the price of gold and silver is going up, the mines should go up. Well, that's not how it works. The mines only go up if there's demand for it, and therefore, just buy the gold and silver, and then just wait for them to go up, and that's really all you can do. That's why I suggest the Mantle card or the Bobby Orr card or the Tom Brady rookie or the Montana. I mean, those you can see have gone up, but now they're already up. It's not the same. Gold hasn't gone up yet, or silver. Silver at $30. I mean, that's going to go huge. But you must understand that it's still low. The guy was talking today on Mark McGuire. Well, you should get into other metals. No, you shouldn't, because they're not money. You need the money backed by gold. Pure and simple. You don't get into platinum and palladium. That's bullshit. Because we're in a recession, we're not going to be making the products, catalytic converters. Well, you got to make cars for that. Are you going to make cars and sell them? People don't understand that the money's worthless, right? Again, we're 5 steps ahead of the game. We know the money's worthless. So if you know the money's worthless, what are you going to do with it? Oh, they're going to invest in this, in cars. They can't. They don't have the money. Now, if it's CBDC or USD2, if it ain't backed by gold, it's just same toilet paper. It might be digital toilet paper, but it's as much money as Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is not money. It must be wanted. It must be, what's my term? Shit. it must be, there we go. It must be accepted. So in other words, you must accept Bitcoin as money, and it's not. I cannot go to Kroger's and use it. I'd have a better chance with silver, but even that I can't use as money yet. And that's what we're trying to get to, is to use it. But we don't want to use the gold as money at its current value. We want to get the value of gold and silver at the free market rate. That's what we want. Then we see $10,000 an ounce gold and $2,000 an ounce silver. That's what we're waiting for, is the free market, Joe Montana, $120,000 card at market. And that's what we're headed for, and we're waiting for. So we're again we're 5 steps ahead of the class. And that's all we can do. I'm hoping for 2,400. Let's see. I think it ended now. It's 6. Yeah, it's not showing 6. Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Come on. 23.92, 31.21 silver. But see, silver, they can easily do the put option on Monday, and you'll see it go down to 30. They can't do it with gold unless they actually have it. And as much as they're trying, there's too much demand. It gets bought by, I assume, the central banks, whoever buys off of Comex, and they're buying their banks, and they're buying large amounts. The derivatives are trying to control a large amount with a little, and they're all done. So there's a little bit left. Again, it's the Titanic hit the iceberg, and you're saying, well, we haven't sunk yet. And I'm saying, but the water's coming in. We're going to sink because of the iceberg. So we know gold, you're running out of the physical to play the put option game, Eddie Murphy. So therefore, if you're running out of it, then that's where you go with it. So then it becomes, you're running out of you're running out of the gold is the same as the water coming in. So we know that the gold will start going to a physical gold price, which hopefully will be supply and demand price soon. And when it does, it's going to run, and then you're not going to be able to get the gold. So anyway, that's what happens. So that's really gambling. You're taking your money to make money, which is fine, but they've got you diluted into betting NFL offensive rookie of the year. Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck cares? Do you really know? Do you really care? I gave you 2 to bet on, and it ain't Caleb. It's Daniels and Bo Nix is the only 2 I can even see. You can't bet a receiver. Receivers don't win player of the, it's Caleb. It was CJ Stroud last year. He had an average year at Houston. He wasn't really that good, but certainly wasn't going to a receiver. Especially, why is Oduzzi on it with Caleb? He'll never see the ball with CJ Moore and whatchamacallit from San Diego. God, I can't remember his name. But that's the thing. He'll never see the ball. Just like the guy last year from Ohio State on Seattle. He never saw that. Went to Metcalf and he went to Lockett. It's not going to Smith and the GB. Why would it go there? He doesn't even know what he's doing yet. He still thinks he's playing Purdue and Indiana every week. So that's why we gamble, to make money. But you have to figure out, why do I make the bet? And what's my better return? What's my smarter bet? Why is it going to win? So there's a shitload of questions which most people don't want to go through, or don't have a clue, even if they went through it. Why would I bet, Chicago over Philadelphia? Why would I make that bet? And you have to understand why you're making the bet. That, I like the uniforms are green, and you bet it. Oh, it won, the green uniforms. I mean, that's how stupid it is. So be careful. You've got to learn why you're doing everything. And I know it's hard work, and that's why you come to me and say, "Yeah, just pick the game, professor. I don't want to know how to do it. I just want to make money doing it and pick the game." So I get it. I like to figure things out. I like to understand why. I actually like to know why I lose. When I lose, I'm like, okay, why did I lose? Baseball's really frustrating. I'll bet, a 2.0 pitcher against a 2.0 pitcher, and I bet the game under and goes 10-9. You're like, how did that happen? Oh, the 2.0 pitcher gave up, 8 runs, gave up eight hits and 7 runs. Well, he's a 2.0 pitcher. What do you mean? He shouldn't give up anything. And that's where baseball becomes very hard. Now, Mahomes has that too, where he throws 3 interceptions, but it's going to be against a good defensive team. So we think we figured out how to catch that. Like when he plays Oakland, it ain't going to be high scoring. He's going to have a bad game, and they did lose 17-7 because the Oakland defense. But so now we know, wait, this is the spot we avoid Mahomes is against a really tough defense. And against Baltimore and the Niners, he didn't light it up. He had 17 on Baltimore. It was a poor game for him. But against that defense, that's exactly what we expected. He wasn't going to light it up. And against the Niners, he wasn't going to light it up. So you could see what's going to cause him not to light it up. And that's what you avoid. So now we avoid these really good defenses. That's why I'm starting to look at the defenses and the offenses. It's funny, I watch these old games, like these old Super Bowls in the 70s and the Michigan-Ohio State games, and it's like, fuck, I mean, you could have made a fortune on the unders. I never thought I just took the dog in the Michigan-Ohio State games, but you could have made 10 times the amount on the unders. The games were, 14-10 and, 12-10 game, the 10-10 tie. I mean, these guys, the over-under was probably in the 40s, and you weren't getting anywhere close to it, especially without overtime. So now that comes into the factor and makes it much easier to bet, USC over, Oklahoma over, Washington over. I mean, it's very easy to do that. It always goes to the star player. So football is probably the easiest to bet, in my opinion. Understanding what I understand now, it's the easiest to bet. And I can do 75% with my eyes closed because I can see once I get the team. So it takes about 3 weeks how they're going to react this year. So like the Bears and the Vikings should be under teams because they have no offense and a pretty good defense. And then Detroit and Green Bay are over teams. However, Green Bay might be an A team if their defense got a lot better, which we don't know. But if we see them shutting out the first 3 weeks, then we'll have an idea. They got a really good defense. Baltimore and Kansas City and San Diego and Oakland, these are really good defensive teams. San Francisco, maybe the Rams, they should be much better. Pittsburgh, we know. Baltimore, we know. Cleveland. So you start identifying the teams, and it makes it easy. Oh, this quarterback's not going to have a big day against them. So that's what you know. Anyway, so I think that's about it. Have some dinner, take a nap. That's about it. I might go. Well, the pool's here is open to 8, but I already went to the pool at the club, which I prefer. And I could go to the lake and walk. I might do that. Yesterday I didn't. I was just too tired. It was the hour drive. But today I might need a nap. Get some. I'm gonna have a salad for dinner. Anyway, that's about it. So it's all about money. It's all about what to do with your money and really understanding the banks are Wall Street and the banking system, right? Chase and JP Morgan and Wells Fargo and Bank of America. They're controlling everything. They print fake money out of thin air and they control it. But because they control it and there's no watchdog, the more money they print, the less it's worth. So if you understand that concept, you just avoid banks altogether. Banks are like Sauron. I mean, they're evil, right? They're not there for you. They're there for them. They're trying to scam you into buying stocks and bonds and real estate trusts. And oh wait, I didn't know the guy was going to do it. I'm going to cancel that, and you lost your 60 grand. What kind of crap is that? So that's why, to avoid the banks and the government, you buy gold and silver. That's the other part about gold and silver that you really don't understand. Blowing up Comex then gives us a real price on gold and silver. You haven't had that. You've had this paper price on gold and silver. That's why it's been cheap. Now it's going away. And with this whole Brics thing happening in October, oh my God, you're going to get a real gold and silver price. And it's going to be 10 times the price it is now. And right now it's 23.91. 4, 6, 4, 5, 6. Anyway, so 23.92. So it'll easily be 15,000. I mean, without a sweat, because it goes to a physical price without these derivatives knocking it down and inflating that there's so much more gold than there is. Once we get to a real price, it'll be really high. So that's what you have to understand. I understand that. That's why I'm here for you, because you don't understand. Nobody understands that part of it. And that's why when I listen to Mark McGuire's whole guest, these guys are clueless. I don't know why Mark has them on, and he must get paid to have them on or something. I don't know. There's probably some sort of financial gain for him. And he promotes the guy's, site, which is very embarrassing. And they don't really know what they're doing, to tell you the truth. So anyway, with that in mind, you go from there. So really, I think that's about it. So just be careful with your money. I mean, at the end of the day, is what you're doing is you're playing with your money, and you're trying to not lose it. And I've given you the ways to make without losing: gold and silver, football, and that's about it. Your money in the bank, be careful, and because the banks are going to just steal it when they can't pay it because of all these derivatives. They're going to take your money. The new money coming out, is that going to be backed by gold? Well, we'll see if Fort Knox has gold, they'll back it by gold. Yeah, otherwise they're dead, because if Brics backs it by gold and we don't, nobody's going to want the U.S. dollar, which means it won't have a value. So here comes USD2. Good luck at that if it's not backed by gold. Here comes Bitcoin won't be coming out, and then here's CBDCs. They won't work unless they're backed by gold. And nobody will trust the government anyway if the dollar collapses. Nobody's buying USCDs or DBs or whatever they are, CBDCs. So keep that in mind. All right. Well, have a nice weekend. I hope you had a nice 4th of July. Enjoy, and I will talk to you tomorrow morning, probably around 11, our normal time. We will see. And otherwise, take care. Good luck. Enjoy. www.teaserking.com for you want to get a hold of me on my email, and or soon you'll start buying my picks. You have to go there, and it's on PayPal. So it's really secure. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Take care.